A recent interview with Javier Milei has me thinking about great men and the responsibility they have to themselves and to their people. And while I might not agree with his speech in Davos or with a lot of his general economic policies, for instance, he's actually against breaking up monopolies and says that only the state can coerce the public because the state has a monopoly on violence, which is respectively wrong and most of the time wrong. But the world is not made up of humans making individual decisions based on a universal scale of right and wrong, capitalist and communist. The world is made up of nations and of great men making decisions that are the best for them, for their individual situations. And in that regard, I do have a lot of respect for Argentina's new president. I have a lot of respect for the transparency with which he's making changes to his country's economy and to their culture. And even if I don't agree, I know that we can't start working toward a solution to any problem unless we're willing to start moving forward, even if we know that there's a very good chance we'll have the wrong solution at the start, if that makes sense. I mentioned it at least once on this channel before, but my high school experience here in America was at a somewhat prestigious magnet high school that I got into with the power of good test scores and a lot of letters of recommendation. But I was also the only person in my class not to end up going to college. My class was mostly professors' kids, so, it made me a bit of an odd duck. And there's always in the back of my mind been this sense in which I thought of myself as a failure because of that. And it haunts me even now as I'm starting to do something that is good and right and something that I like doing, even though in retrospect I think I made good decisions pretty consistently. Not always, definitely not always, but pretty consistently. I remember I was 19 or 20 working at a sub shop here in town, some crappy minimum wage job. And some of the guys there found out that I went to this prestigious smart people high school and they start bugging me about it. One of the first questions one of them asks is what my ACT scores were. And for my fans who are not in the United States, the ACT is just a test you take for college placement. That's based on a scale from 1 to 36. They asked me about it and I responded, having just come from an environment of intense academic narcissism. I turned to them and said, yeah, I got a 27, but I didn't study. He then looks back at me and says, yeah, I got a 12, but I didn't study either. I will never forget that. Intelligence is not something worth measuring just so you can compare it to other intelligent people. In fact, given that the challenges faced by individual great people are completely different, absolutely alien in a lot of circumstances, it's really not even worth comparing. Intelligence, strength, and greatness is a responsibility to yourself and to others. It's a blessing that is also a responsibility to the people around you. And our current academic and economic and government and just everything in our culture just doesn't teach people that. So what's my job then? If I'm, sitting here contemplating greatness, clearly I must think a lot of myself, as, most people do, I guess. I recently watched a debate on postmodernism. Thank you to Philosophy Overdose. Link will be in the pinned comment. And it immediately jumped out at me how postmodernism rejects the idea of the creation of new narrative. It fundamentally believes that there is nothing more for us. It in a very tragic, very sad sense believes there's nothing more for us. It only looks back. It is postmodernism. It is looking back on modernism. Meanwhile, all I want is narrative. I mean, I'm a novelist. That's what I am. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm doing. Because I believe fiction is one of the most undervalued parts of our culture right now. We do not value fiction. And oftentimes fiction is the only way we can actually explore the aspects of our society that we're not willing to put in the history books. And that is my goal. Hanging a spotlight over the aspects of our society that we'd rather not look at. And not only hanging that spotlight, but making it so goddamn entertaining that not only do you see it, you want to look at it. That you want to look at a story that explores colonialism and slavery or racism or economic oppression or totalitarianism or the many flaws of Western politics. I want to make a story that highlights everything that is wrong with the world you live in. And I want to make it so goddamn entertaining that you cannot help but watch. That is my drive. That is my purpose. That is why I am here. Yeah. The struggle of great men, I suppose. I don't know. I guess that's all I have for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this session of mental vomit. Feels good, I guess. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. And I will see you guys in the next one.